What are you going to do when your wife turns around and she's making six figures and you can go to the golf course every day if you wanted to? You know, dude, fucking sign me up. That shit almost killed me.
So that triggered the abandonment wound in you.
Well, it triggered me to understand what codependence was, because
What was it to you?
I had now depended on you for money. The biggest problem that I had was not you making more money than me, or it was me feeling like I now depended on your income, because we have reached a lifestyle that what am I going to do to replace it? That type thing, you know? Mm. And I think this fear came in when I realized I couldn't myself support the lifestyle that I was now living. Yeah. That's where I realized I was going to need to break some money codes, because I was attached to money in a way that I was the man to bring it home. But then when I realized that on my own, I couldn't keep the lifestyle up that I had gotten used to by somebody else making money. So now money had me around the neck. Ooh. It was okay when it had you around the neck because I was holding the leash. But then when it was around my neck, I had to sit there and go, wait a damn. You see? And then I had to realize that the codependence was a huge thing. And then when we broke that, that's when the kind of marriage thing kind of crumbled. Yeah.
So we're going to talk today about how to keep it sizzling, have sizzling sex, even if he isn't bringing home the bacon. And so we've been together 18 years. We're going to get divorced, and you heard that story, but it's like all good. And that's what I want to go over today. Like, we're going to share with y'all pretty much everything we can to possibly help you, because I work with a lot of female breadwinners. I work with a lot of powerful women and up and coming women where they're actually surpassing their husband's income, replacing it, not because they're in a race with their husband. It's because they actually, here's the deal. I heard something that really hit home, and it says, women making money frees our men.
Yeah.
Women being capable and not going into this old construct of, one of us needs to be at home and not, or whatever. The woman needs to be at home. That's creating so much stress for our men, because a lot of men, and that's what we're going to go over today. It's an old paradigm to think that men are only good for their money. And when I say it like that, most women go, oh no, my husband's not only good for that. False.
I think we can narrow this whole conversation down a little bit more by saying it's take out the money, and it's the support, the protection. It's everything that money represents. When you say that a man is supporting you, we immediately think dollar bills.
Everybody. So who here, just put in the comments, be for real. Okay. Or in your head, if you're listening, is your financial security, does it come from a man? Do you feel like money, security, money in form of financial, whatever?
What do you look for from a man? If it's safety, security, protection,
finances,
safety, if that's what you're looking for, and you consider all of that his monetary input,
which I do,
man, we're going to have to pause, because I'm talking one thing and I feel like you're totally opposite.
This is what we're going to go over.
Go ahead. I'll save my point till later.
You can say it now. I will shut up.
I've somewhat gotten a little sideways with myself on whatever my point was.
Okay.
All I'm saying is,
what I'm saying is, okay,
when you're talking about what's made this, to fast forward to give a highlight at the end of this conversation, is the man, me, myself, who used to have a different role as far as the income in the family. I had to deal with
I'm going to turn this way.
What was it?
Okay, Skipp had a ex-wife situation.
I had to understand. You had to let me know that there's a lot more safety that you needed that I thought was packed up in a dollar bill, where I thought that all you needed, all I could ever serve you with was money, the finances, When I realized that the shit you really needed from me was the stuff outside of the finances, and I could grow those aspects of my life if I didn't have to worry about also bringing home the bacon. Now, I still want to bring home a whole lot of bacon. It's just, I don't feel like you depend on me for that. And that freed me up to be able to do, man, some shit that I didn't think
support me.
Yeah, to really support you stronger. So that's where this conversation is going to end up going.
Yeah.
It just started out sounding like we were going to, men. Anyway, I just want to make that press.
That was wonderful.
No, I don't think I don't know if it still made sense. Maybe it helped somebody
No, it
to
fuck
understand.
it made a lot of sense to me.
Because it was not, it's where I'm at right now is awesome. And I couldn't even dream of being here. Homeschooling my kids, and my wife makes millions.
And she's fucking hot and puts her ass in your face when she gets out of the bathtub.
And teaches people how to have more sex with their husbands and get to practice a whole lot of stuff.
And they got a poll right here. I love to get naked. We like to do all that stuff.
I can't promise that everybody's going to have that when their wife starts making a whole lot of money. So I don't want to.
That mine was security. Thank you, Karen. Karen, Omar OG, Karen, man, because she's admitting it. She's saying that, yeah, her security and her husband was money.
Yeah. I see that.
And I remember I'm talking like very, very faint line here, because I was taught to not depend on a man for anything. Okay. Now I've had to work through a lot of that fucking trauma. Yeah. It's still opening up to you. I mean, I'm still always being just opening up because it is a thing. But there was a small faint moment when I remember I would emasculate the fuck out of you. I mean, how much did I abuse you?
Probably more than I even realized. And
many women do this. I teach this in a course called Relationship by Design. It completely, how much did that course change our life? That course was actually it was when our life was changing. I put it into that course. Right. And that's what anybody that does our stuff, it's like you get to witness me going through it. And that course, you get to watch me uncover codependency, the sex. I was so emasculating. I used to say things to Skipp, like I gave him ultimatums all the time. For example, we were over at a cookout or birthday party, and I couldn't even be over there because of how the wife was talking about her husband, like yelling, and he was grilling out, and she's like, sorry, y'all, the hamburger's a little done. He did them too much done. I was like, oh my God. And then like screaming at him and just like making these demands at him and fucking nagging. That was me. I grew up with a woman who was like, this man won't do a fucking thing. I've got 3 kids. One's 42. I have to do everything for that man. And all you do is want sex. And I cook, I clean, I do everything. You just sit on your fucking ass. And, I literally was doing that to Skipp. I would say, boy, I need to get me a divorce. Maybe I'll get somebody to do the dishes. Like, didn't I used to talk to you like that?
Yeah.
Sorry. I think I've already said, but that was me. I nagged. I expected him to read my fucking mind. I expected him to know what I was thinking, to know what I needed. I was just telling the story about the weight room. We had this fucking 80, 90 pound bench that Skipp got me when he put together my weight room. And I was pregnant, big as everything, just huge there at the end. And I would have clients and I'd go out there and just like chuck it around. And I remember picking it up and just slamming it down. I was so angry. And my client was like, you want me to help? And I was like, no. And then I laughed. I was like, I bet I made people feel so uncomfortable, but whatever. But in my mind, I was like bitching, like wanting him to get me wanting somebody. Martyrs and victims and toxic women want people to save them. They want people to go, oh, you do so much here. Sit down and let me get that. They wanted to know, when is it going to be their fucking turn? This is where thyroid issues come from. This is why my program literally clears shit out to the root, because you have to get down to the bottom of this. Many women aren't ready for that. They still want to blame other people. Well, if Skipp would just do this, then I get women, Skipp, it's so sad. They come into Hotmomz and their first thing is, my husband needs this. If he would just do this. Oh, I had such a good day today and my husband put me in a bad mood. I'm like, oh my God, are we codependent or what? You are so toxic. It's okay though, because I was too. Skipp was too. And that's why we are here. We kind of got the codes for y'all and we want to share them, because your kids deserve better parents. You deserve a better lover. You deserve a better you. And because I just want you to be happy. I just want everybody to be happy. That's it. So let's get into, I guess, what's some of the thoughts that come to your mind about how did you feel when I started making more money than you?
I think the first feeling I had was, this could be some really cool shit. Like I could actually change careers. Like I have been in a type of, I wasn't growing in my finances at all.
How much did you make, by the way, when I met you?
I've always made 80 to 100.
6 figures. That's how women think.
Oh yeah.
They want that man to make 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? Like, buy me a fucking Coach bag or something. Like, that's how we used to talk. I'm not lying.
Yeah, and I had cool shit when you met me, you know.
Andy had another wife, honey, which she had a rich daddy growing up. So naturally, she thought that's all men were for, was the damn credit card. That's it. And she treated you. How did she treat you?
Oh, it was rough. It was kind of like,
With money? She didn't care if you didn't have a drink of water. If her kids didn't have a drink of water, you were responsible for every. Like, how did that feel?
always we would have these goals that I knew kind of were a little out there, like further than anything I'd want to do, like in a sense.
Who, you, the first wife?
Yeah, the first wife.
Okay.
Because she had a pretty big net to fall back on.
What her
which
dad?
was her dad, you know, so she would spend quickly all of our
He had like a black AMX kind of daddy.
Oh yeah, he was real rich. And he's really cool. Like probably he was the reason I married his daughter, which ends up falling back on me anyway. However, yeah, man.
God love her. We've
Yeah,
made peace with her. I mean,
yeah. And I just know the wounds now, and it's just like,
yeah.
you just can't.
We've all kind of looked back on things and whatever. So we're not blaming anyone.
No, not at all. She was a partner to me, just like you are.
Mhm.
So when I met her, she had an office job at, you know, a good office job, and
How much was she making?
probably, I don't know, 30 to 50, probably 30 to 40, maybe 25. Hell, I don't know, but it was down there pretty low. This was 2000. And I was I was more than that. I had enough money that I didn't know how much I was making. It didn't matter that much.
You also had availability. I remember you had inheritance. You could sell
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You had like,
I was not worried about money at all.
yeah.
Never. When I was 24, I hadn't worried about money at all. It was really just kind of magical. It always just was around me. It always fell on me.
Yes.
Still does. And I think that kind of leads to where I'm at right now. But however, she wants to get into real estate. I fully support it. I love real estate. I love going to look at houses. I love I was construction. So it was kind of cool if she was an agent and I was a builder. That was going to be kind of something that would fit. And then if I had a rich father-in-law, that was going to be a good investment right there in the pocket. So there were some good things lining up that could have worked out really well. And then she did real well, man. Got her license. He got his. He freaking sold 10 million.
Imagine that somebody comes in contact with Skipp and has the best career ever. How many people do you just have in your portfolio?
Well, now I'm realizing it's most of them. But so what happens, because my mom did that even.
Right.
You know, my dad did that. So you're not it's happened to me both times, but not to this extent. Yeah. This is a retirement field.
Well, I wanted to free Skipp. And I get a lot of women that say, they come to me and they're like, Casey, I'm like, tell me your dreams. Because usually when a woman signs up with me, it's to work with me in like Magic Academy or VIP days or whatever. I like, because it's not many, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, out of the thousands of people, you'll get like 1 or 2 a month that actually want to like do this with me. And I'll say, what are you dreaming? Or Millionaire Matrix, that program, I kind of help people build businesses. So that one's small, and they'll say, I want to be able to afford this for my kids, and make it so my husband doesn't have to work. This is a woman saying this. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was it like in maybe a step format or something when I started making more money? Like, what were you feeling like?
I believe that if you had started making more money before I stopped making money, if you had started making more money than me, because I had already chosen by the way things were going that we were going to move, and I was going to stop my career, stop making money. And then I was going to be on about a 30 to 60, maybe 90-day run before I needed to find something to do.
Yeah, because we were talking about baseball.
Within that 90 days, then you were making more than I could go out and make.
Hold on, back up. You said, go back to the part that the transition when we said, hey, let's do this thing. Because I remember, I tell the story, like I didn't know how we were going to make it.
There was a time we decided we were going to move, and there was no way that I was going to be able to do what I was doing if we were going to move. So this was.
And what did you tell people what you did?
I just had a large client-based business. So it was a lot of clients.
Yeah.
And so
in
they
person.
had paid packages, they had time already bought with me. It's one of those things, if you start like working your way out of it, you start making
Sorry.
you start making way less money than you need. So you almost are trapped in it. It's almost like bartending a little bit. You can't afford not to do it, and you can't afford to do anything else because
Massage therapy, same way.
yeah, it's any of those client-based businesses. Then you're attached to the clients. So anyway, I had always wanted to get out of the activity of doing what I was doing, but I enjoyed the people enough that I stayed in it. So I remember getting it down to where I was making about $5,000 a month. You had gotten up to where you were making about $5,000 a month, and we were needing about $12,000 a month.
Yeah, it seems like we were always like 5,000 away from our dreams coming true.
I was going down in revenue as I knew that we were going to move. And I'd done this once before and we didn't move.
Yeah.
And then that was just,
I got scared.
Stupid. Yeah.
I got scared.
So this was the whole second go around on this thing. So I knew that I was going to stop doing what I was doing, regardless of whether we moved or not.
And he had child support still. Let's see, you had one on child support.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which he paid $1,400 a month in child support plus extracurricular when I met him. And there for a minute, at the end you were paying $680 per kid.
Yeah,
yeah.
So we've got this. Your income coming this way, my income's coming this way. I'm headed down. So the more or less income I'm making, as you're making more, I'm excited for what's happening because it's what needs to happen. But that with the emasculation, I just started drinking more.
Because you feel worthless and stressed. Yeah.
And then, not taking care of myself.
And then I feel even worse.
It was hard to tell that all that was going on because I was so excited about finally getting to move.
I want to share something about trauma. So my trauma came, my former stuff, my beliefs, my old beliefs that stopped me. And a lot of women will do this. They'll attract military partners. They'll attract alcoholics. They'll attract men who aren't there emotionally, physically, because they don't feel safe around a man. So with me, if my man was wealthy, healthy, and happy, it meant he wasn't as safe to me. So if I had him beat down, and at every core of every woman, if you're in a codependent relationship, that's all it is you need that other person to be in a way. It's like when a woman gets pregnant, she wants him to get fat. I've seen women feed their dudes cookies to get him fat, so he won't go fuck around. Like that's her low key thing for abandonment. So hearing Skipp say all this, we've looked into the things going, was this my attempt in like making you powerless? So I felt in control, and like we could have made that a thing, but it didn't feel like.
I always saw it as you had always, since the day you met me, you ensured everyone that you were not with me for my money. So you have worn a badge since the day I met you that said it was not about the money, when it was always about the money.
In a way.
And in my mind, it was always about
But it was me also, like you're the genie. It was me saying, what's your final wish?
I know, but hang on. It was my money was never good to you.
No.
It would never have been good to you. It was never good to you. And I didn't know how to take that.
Oh, that was hard. And I didn't, and I look back and I sit there and go, what a bitch I was. But really, I was just, my heart was so closed. I didn't feel safe. And I felt like the only way I could be safe was doing it all alone. I only knew all alone. So hyper independence is a trauma response. And so that was my thing, right? Now there's the shitty side of it. There's a positive side to all this. And we've chosen to see that. Back then we didn't see that. We only saw the low vibe, the powerlessness, the emasculation, the emasculation. You started drinking, and we almost got split up around that 7-year mark, that 7-year itch. I think have we had a kid yet?
It messed me up enough that I couldn't go out and get a job.
Yeah, he couldn't. I remember, oh my God, remember you tried to do that? You bought like a shirt or something. We're going to go to the marina or some shit.
Yeah. Like I had gotten to a place where it was not going to be I was not going to go out and find an hourly working type position doing anything. And
we were being forced to sit with this. We were being forced to see, okay, if you don't really want him for his money, bitch, we're going to take it all away and see what you're really about.
Yeah.
And I was tested. Okay. I was tested and we go back. Our whole relationship has been helping each other to heal. I mean, we both feel safe enough to allow each other to heal, just like what we're talking about right now allowed us to just.
And you didn't do that to me. Like all of this had to be healed in me because I saw it happen to my dad and my granddad.
What happened to him?
My grandmother managed the money for my grandfather. And then he went through a time, in his mid-40s where he lost a son. And then he laid in bed for 25 years.
Depression and drinking and the women, not doing anything.
And the women at that point, when the women take control of the money, they start drinking until they die. And when my mom started replace my dad's income, then
because men feel like they feel like, what am I good for? The same thing when you she divorced him.
Yeah. And then at that same time, I was changing careers. You were going to make all the money, blah, blah, blah. And I found myself in the same situation with my dad and granddad. So this is not where you did it to me. It was a part of healing, just as you mentioned.
We came together to trauma bond.
Yeah.
We were together.
As you healed, it healed me. As I healed, it healed you. And that's what we're starting to see. And that's what anybody has the garden to grow in their relationship, I believe.
Right. So how did you feel? And I remember you went through this when you had a episiotomy. Hell, what's it called?
Vasectomy.
A vasectomy. You know, I have my own things on vasectomy about men who don't want to get it. I'm like,
okay, and that's a good correlation. Those two right there caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
All right. What are you going to do when your wife turns around and she's making six figures and you can go to the golf course every day if you wanted to? You know, dude, fucking sign me up. That shit almost killed me.
Same thing when people say they want to retire. Right. I'm like, that's going to kill you, man, because you need to.
So you have to learn to, what's my new life going to be? And then, I don't want just to be a sports car. I want it to be a new body. Well, now I don't want it to just be a new body. I got probably 20 more years now that I'm getting in shape. Now I want to be happier. Well, why was it so fucking miserable about it? And you're going through all this stuff. And then being reminded that at any point she decided that she didn't want to be with you. Now you broke and you ain't going. You see what I'm saying? That scared the shit out of me.
So that triggered the abandonment wound in you.
Well, it triggered me to understand what codependence was, because
what was it to you?
I had now depended on you for money.
And that is a form of codependence.
That's a big part of this whole conversation. I may need to repeat that. Okay. The biggest problem that I had was not you making more money than me, or it was me feeling like I now depended on your income, because we have reached a lifestyle that what am I going to do to replace it? That type thing, And I think this fear came in when I realized I couldn't myself support the lifestyle that I was now living.
Oh God. Like all these stay-at-home moms. When I sit there and I look at them and they're like, these women are like not doing shit. And I'm like, what happens if your husband dies? Oh, we have insurance money. But what happened? You're going to live your life like in terror of the money running out. Like, let's get some skills. Like, let's see who you are. Let's like that. Yeah.
That's where I realized I was going to need to break some money codes, because I was attached to money in a way that I was the man to bring it home. But then when I realized that on my own, I couldn't keep the lifestyle up that I had gotten used to by somebody else making the money. So now money had me around the neck.
Ooh.
It was okay when it had you around the neck because I was holding the leash. But then when it was around my neck, I had to sit there and go, wait a damn minute. You see? And then I had to realize that the codependence was a huge thing. And then when we wrote that's when the kind of marriage thing kind of crumbled.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my vows that I swore to you are very codependent. And I have some new ones that I think serves our situation much more,
Yeah. Well, and also what Skipp did was, it's like they teach in the Bible, or the Bible says, it's like lose everything.
Yeah.
Give away everything, right? And this is the Star Wars. Star Wars teaches the path to the dark side.
Become handicapped at the same time.
Yeah, became handicapped. His leg quit working after his mom died. All this trauma. Literally, our asses are getting handed to us, kicked back and forth until we wake the fuck up and go within and go, why is this happening? Let me find out where these cycles are coming from and start breaking. We just start breaking cycle after cycle after cycle after cycle. Once we understood how to crack the code and look at our life like not as victim of circumstance, everything that's fucking happening, we literally created, we can out create it. Life changed.
And then I start seeing what I bring to the table. You start seeing what you bring to the table, and I start seeing what I'm bringing to the table. So maybe could be a little bit stronger because it needs to be a little bit stronger. So I go do my own work to get a little bit stronger so that it can support you and what you're doing. And if you got a problem with me, then I can be real quiet and sit there and let you figure out what the fuck your problem is with me.
And it's really with myself.
And then if I have a problem with you, then I hope that you'd do the same. Just sit there and listen to me. I may say the wrong shit. I may say something I don't, mean, but the problem is I'm saying it so I can figure it out. So please just sit there and know.
He needs a witness.
Yeah. And sometimes that works better when the codependent bond has been broken so that you can really just honor space for each other.
Now, codependent means when your actions, beliefs, thoughts, everything rely on another person's
You make me
outcome.
feel this way.
Yeah. This person's making me feel this way, or if this person would just change, it would be easier. Or I really want to do this, but I need to ask permission. Why? Because he may not support this.
Well, I've always wanted to do it, but if I don't have you, like if you don't want to do it, then what the fuck?
Oh my God. Remember? He used to get on me like, why don't you want to go out tonight? Casey did this thing. And I'm like, I don't want to go. He goes, you always do this. You always want to sit at home and da-da-da-da. Remember that?
Or just like, it's always your way.
Yes.
It's always your way.
And
that's codependent as hell.
And then the resentment. I'm like, God Almighty, like the other day when you go, I want you to go to the park with us. And if you're going to be here, and I'm like, hold up, I'm not going to go to the park with the kids right now because I don't feel it. And if I go, it's forced, and now it's shit. And now I resent the kids and they don't deserve that. Like what? And then how did that work out?
Worked out perfect because whatever was the energy in me and the energy in you and the kids was not vibing.
No.
And you would have felt like you needed to, or I was going to be mad at you.
I used
to think that I'm going to be mad at you, so you do something to not make me mad at you, then that's 100% certain that it's going to make you mad, and you should have gotten out of the car.
And sex. So same thing with sex.
Gotten good at going, I need you just get out of the car.
Yeah. And we're okay with that. Like, I'm not mad at him. He's not mad at me. And because we're grown, like we know that we're the only thing that can control how we fucking feel. It's not
that time alone or that space. You can at least get your breath back and
took a nap with no pants on.
Yeah.
I got naked and took a nap.
Yeah. And I had a great time with the boys. So,
but sex
or being able to just speak up, and just say, not without hurting feelings.
I know women, and no shame and no diss. This is just showing you like how much gets to be cleared and you get to make a new movie. They don't even talk. They don't even cry in front of their husbands. They don't even share when they're upset. They don't, they'll say all these things. And how do I do this? And he's saying this. I'm like, have you talked to him? No. He'll act like this. And I'm like, oh my God. So now then we have to heal their daddy shit.
You mentioned that's codependent right there.
It's codependent. It's daddy shit.
Do something because you're afraid the way the other one's going to react.
And it's manipulation.
It's not a safe place. And if you think it is, then you didn't grow up in a safe place.
There you go. And then they're like, oh, I had a great childhood. I'm like, that's the biggest red flag. Because if you had a great childhood, you would literally not have been, you wouldn't have gone through 2 divorces and have this relationship with your husband and
And then guilt and shame just jumps all those stories. So
God.
Really without codependence, guilt and shame has no ground to grow in.
Yeah. And you have to break out of the religious ideals as well when it comes to we grew up Southern Baptist. So it was the patriarchy was real. If you were a man, you were kind of above the woman. The man does this, the man does that. The woman, that was a whole thing. So with sex, there was a small moment in time when I remember like, how would I feel right now? Or like, I remember having sex thinking, just imagine him being a fucking multimillionaire. How would that feel? How would that work? And it was like,
I remember you saying shit like that sometimes.
I'm on a journey. You have to hold space for me and not take it personally. But I did. I've heard.
I was sitting there trying to imagine that shit too. Like, well, I can say it feel good. A couple more you sitting there.
Yeah. So I've tried that, and I know
you wouldn't be the only one sitting there,
right? And also, we'll go back to the sex, but I've told the story before on a podcast about when I saw the hooker with the man, and I realized, like, she was standing there. Clearly, it was a hooker because of just I know. And I know so many women that would sit there and go, oh, she's more than that. She's worth more than that. And I go, let's talk about the fucking guy, because now that I have sons, the thought that a woman would only want my kids, my boys, for their money and what they could provide them. And the only reason they talk to him is if he fucking sent them something on their fucking Cash App. Like, bitch, look what you're doing to our men. You're showing our sons that they're not worth anything else except money. No love, no nothing. And I'm not shaming, but people would always want to shame the men for doing this to women. I'm like, it goes both ways. Now, you can also do sex work and it's very empowering. And you step in, your Kundalini comes out, man, and there's so much power in the adult. There's power and disempowerment in both things. So I'm not saying it's all like that, because there is a lot of power in the other side. But for me and Skipp, it was just this big, like this much of me. Huh?
What are we talking about?
Not your dick size. Like this much of me was thinking about, okay, well, if he made all this money, what would I do? And then I have clients, they're with their dudes because they make good money. Like they see them as secure, like financially, but low key wanting to cheat on him because they're not attracted to him sexually. Like, I mean, whatever. And then, those funny jokes that you can spot. Anyway, we're not even going to go there. Sex with Skipp, me being the breadwinner. I see Skipp for way more than $1 bill. And men that want to sit there and shame other men for not bringing it home, I want to go, okay, buddy, this is funny, because he's just shaming and guilting and all this other shit. He's not even seeing. Skipp manifests for me. Like, I tell him what I want, because financial money isn't even real. If you believe money is real, then that's when it has the most control over you, right? To me, it's more of a frequency. It's a heart opening thing. It's this thing used to for good. To me, it matches my personal growth and the love in my heart and who I'm helping. I'm connecting on a much deeper level. So Skipp is a much deeper level for me, right? So I still see him, like we're picking out another house right now. And I see him as he's picking it out for me. Is he going to physically buy it? His energy is, because his energy allows me to feel emotionally safe, supported. We're working together. He knows my dreams. He's working on my dreams energetically. And if that money shows up through, who fucking gives a shit? But you see how stupid it is to think that money can only come through a man? Like that whole belief system just needs to crumble, crumble. Yeah, that's just my whole thing. If you think that way, it's time to look into every thought you think, because if that is happening, you can't get wet or you're not turned on because he's not making the money. Like, no dissing, no shame. Let's go look into that. This tells me, like, what about his
things? Also, we live in a time now where we're talking, a generation's talking to a new generation. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
To where
a
female, like when it was the man, was the jobs that the men that I remember having access to that paid more than the women, men had to do them.
No.
So now it's a time where, man, revenue, the ability to make revenue now with the internet and everything from 20 years ago,
it's cool.
It's so different that now it's totally a different thing.
It is. And I also want to say this. I recently, you witnessed this. I was crying everywhere. Was it this year? Yeah, this year in this house, I kept running up against this block around money. And it turns out I still felt like men could make more money than me. I still felt like, oh, well, so-and-so can make more money and get more cash because, it's just, in my mind, he was a dude in the industry. Buying property. I thought this, like, the reason I sat here on an energetic standpoint, what if I was renting this home because I didn't think I could get the cash to back it? If I just had a man, like a daddy, to spot me on the house, I could make the payments. Like, it all made sense because I didn't feel capable. And I talked about this on a podcast with Nicole Barker or Hesse. And she said the same thing. Like, once she felt capable and like she was smart enough to do something with money on her own, it's just an empowerment thing, because we grew up being so disempowered around money and being a woman. Like, for me, that was my old story. That once I realized that, it was like, holy shit. But anyway, with the sex thing, for me, a man is it can be stability, not just financially, emotionally. I don't worry about shit around this house. I don't worry about shit. And I think women think that we're playing a role. when they come over, because I have VIP clients come in, and Skipp, the way they just watch us interact, I almost feel like they think we're faking it. We're not. This motherfucker, I don't worry about shit on this around the house. He is the house manager. He keeps things in order, the boys' schedule, which is way better because I'm a female and I'm all over here creative. I'm kind of messy and disorganized. I love creating my thing and here doing all this stuff. And that's what I'm good at. He's really good at organization. He's specialized in fucking raising kids. I don't not saying I don't feel capable of that, but he's really qualified. He's overly qualified for that. His discernment's great. He's a man. He's very logical. Has all these, he's just not as emotional. Like, thank you. You know what I mean? So, and he cleans up. He does I'll do dishes sometimes, but it's just not a thing. We don't have that rule about trash either. Like, what the fuck is this? A man needs to take out the trash. Like
cooking for each other. We
don't do any of that. And then laundry. So I realized that there for a minute, though, he was kind of tapping out. I didn't have my partner. He was stressed out. He was voicing to me that he felt depressed and all this stuff. And I was like, let me take some stuff off his plate, because I don't need my partner to be the maid. And the men pay the fuck attention. Your wife, even though she's a stay-at-home mom, which could be a business, women, I teach you how to make a fucking LLC and make money as a stay-at-home mom and build your own credit and shit like that. But just because she's that, stop making her do everything with the kids. Stop making her do all the housework and all this stuff. And you're not making her. She feels this way and holds resentment. Okay. But if you want more head, get her a housekeeper, right? I mean, that's just a little saying that we say in Hotmomz. But I realized that he needed some stuff to be taken off his plate. So we got a laundry lady, a housekeeper, a tutor, what else? And babysitters, because he needs alone time. Like, I want my partner. You didn't get together. Well, let's just get married and combine incomes. And now we have more help doing it. No, I want you. I want to have sex with you. I want to have intimate time with you. I want to do podcasts with you. I want to lay there and just get to do what I want to do. I don't want to have to do housework, fucking build shit, do all this other shit. Can we outsource that so I can have you?
Yeah. And that was important at this part of the game, as the business keeps making more money and I keep doing more with the kids.
Oh.
That, it sounds cool to now hire all of my duties out. But I never intended for them to be a long-term list of duties. So, when it comes to, I don't want my kids, they're going to be able to remember me being a part of stuff until I got somebody else to take that role over so we could do new shit together.
Yeah.
And I think that getting some of those things off my plate is allowing me to heal from going from being the breadwinner. That's why you're thinking, bring home the bread.
Bring home the bread.
The other phrase is bread.
Bring home the bacon.
Yeah,
it's all food related. Like,
anyway,
milkman. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Because I think it's that psychological connection. Do you need him to live?
Oh yeah.
Because you got to eat, and how are you going to eat if
all that goes back to scarcity and frequency of fear?
Yeah.
But
I'm in a healing process, is what I'm saying. So the more that we outsource some of these household duties that I was doing, that I'm in a process of healing from this topic that we're talking about. So this is going to be episode fucking 1.
Yeah, episode fucking 1.
How much do you like having a millionaire wife and hang out with your kids every day?
And here's the deal, women watching this, because I know a lot of women are like, but I don't have anything to offer. You are the offer, babe. Like, this is what I teach in Millionaire Matrix. Everybody has something to offer. There is something about you. And if you don't have it, then get it. Like, get the body you want. Go for the thing that you want, and you'll find out how to offer the world this. Like, me going after opportunity and wanting to make a lot of money helped me to clear shame, guilt, really looking at running into block after block after block after block. And my health, it started out with body and my health and my wanting to be sexy. And I kept never getting there. I'm like, why am I always struggling, always sick? I take 2 steps ahead, take 3 steps back. What the fuck? So me going for these goals and having goals beyond mommy. Okay. Anybody, come on. Beyond that, like personal goals. What is your aspirations and dreams? Going after that, you will become the person that can sell knowledge and help someone else do it. I mean, that's just, anybody can do that. And I talk to women every day. What do you do for work? And they're in their job, right? Not even seeing, like, this one lady goes, oh, I just run. And she totally like undermined it. I just I help run a nonprofit and something else. I'm a writer on the side. I said, so she gets grants and shit. And I go, hold on. So you get people to give you this nonprofit money and all this, and you can write like persuasive writing. She goes, yeah. I was like, that's a huge market. You can teach people how to write and get what they want. I mean, that's sales copy, that's media, that's like what? And her brain's like, oh, okay. So if you're sitting there like, well, I don't know how to make millions, or I don't know how to make six figures and just having what I have, I promise you there's something inside of you that is, you can monetize. That's all I want to say about that. Mm-hmm. Even you found Amazon the other day. Like women can go get this app, or men can get this app. You take a picture of something, it tells you what you can sell it for. You go buy it at Marshalls or TJ Maxx and resell on Amazon and make six figures. Like,
there's probably 70 to 100 different ways to make money, 10,000 a month on Amazon.
And just anyway. So this is where you have to clear out your worthiness, open your mind, expand your mind, and address your nervous system and beliefs. But going to sex, though, let's talk about sex. So in sex, did you ever allow that to stop you? Or do you notice when you felt less than because you're not making money? Did that affect your dick at all?
Yeah, big time. I became real needy for sex rather than feeling like I deserved it. So I would say that I was the most insecure sexually I've ever been in my life.
How did it show up? Because men and women are going to want to know what that looks like.
Openly wanting you to flirt with me.
Like you don't do this enough. Like women.
You also got to realize too, I'm drinking at the same time during all this stuff. So I'm hiding secrets. So that's pretty bad also. So if you got, you get the sex tied up that during this whole.
Secrets like what? Because people are thinking you're.
Oh, just, it's been 2 weeks since I had a beer. Not secrets like cheating, or, I made $200 and didn't say anything about it. Nothing that I would consider a big deal. It's little white lies, man, that sit there and they just cause you to all of a sudden, if you kind of feel a little weak, because that's why you're telling the lies, is you feel a little out of control. And when your money's not coming in, you feel a little bit out of control. And when you realize it's going to get less and less, you get a little bit more out of control. So then you start drinking or doing some sort of substance that you're in control of. And then you have that little relationship going. Meanwhile, it's like you don't feel high. You're not, you're not like going to go cheating or anything.
You're describing so many women right now.
And then now I'm coming to you with the worst game I possibly have. Like terrible game. Just terrible. Maybe an awful comment as we pass each other in the kitchen that I even feel dirty about. But the fact that it doesn't cause you to want to suck my dick, now I'm like, she hates me.
Oh, hell. Rejection.
Hates me. And then I'm like, well, you're just going to walk around here fucking not giving a shit about anybody. And I start saying something that just starts to bring all the shit up again. So is that happening because I'm making less money? It's part of the recipe. So see it coming. And when you notice that bullshit ass type of relationship going on, then know that there's pain there, because it could be coming from the lack of money. It could be coming from my confusion of what you understood as safety. You see? So if I understood more about what you need from me at the damn base level of who
women don't even know it. We didn't know. Women don't even know what they need, much less can tell you what they need.
That's what no one's fault for any of this,
Right.
I'm saying if there's an opportunity for your partner to make more money than you, and talking about the difficulties of going through it, then I'm open for the fact that I think you should. I'm not preaching that, man.
Oh, no.
Like if you started making 7 figures and I was making 7 figures 3 weeks behind you,
make 7 figures.
I know, but I'm not making 7 figures right. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
If this isn't a thing like we made a decision for me to just stay at home with the kids one day. That's what I think what I'm getting at is.
Yeah. How did that come about?
It just came about where I stopped doing what I was doing to make income. And then my role that I was doing was allowing you to make more income.
And you also told me, he told me many times, he said, thank you so much. Because he'd been working his whole, just like working and I can't even explain it. But he was like, thank you. He was going to go check into rehab. And he said, I just need time he had so much PTSD. He was just like, thank you. Not having to go to work and doing all this is just helping me to heal my shit, you know? And so many men, like the suicide rate in men is way higher than women. And having 2 boys, I was
my feistiest, not physical, but just most offensive during these times.
Oh, fuck yeah.
So now I can say you were growing energetically, and that's what you're teaching these women. And as you grow energetically, money is going to start falling in your life.
And your husband's going to shift and change. Women always think, what do I need to do to change him? I'm like, change yourself. You step into your queendom. The women lead. See, we've always sat here and sat back thinking the men need to lead. We are the intuitive beings. We are the ones, period. It says advocating is the word he was looking for.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Crystalline. Advocating. Yeah.
I'm going to work on more vocabulary.
Me too.
As the kids get older, I'm at about a 6-7-year-old level.
Yeah, I think I am too. It's all good.
Boys
hey, but see, you don't have to have have vocabulary to become a millionaire. I'm going to use that one. She said, I'm on a journey and you need to make space for me. Yes. They don't need to do anything. And if you feel like they need to make space for you, then you're just still that little girl inside wanting everybody around you to fucking cater to you. Nobody owes you anything. Yeah, you support your fucking, it's called self-esteem. Okay, self-esteem.
Okay, can I react to that?
Yeah.
If you got a good dude, you'd love to hear that. It's just you be safe and let me sit with my shit right now. Just be a safe place for me.
Don't react.
Imagine a man or a woman. I can't imagine a partner, man, sitting there and not providing a place for you to just sit in your shit. You're not blaming me.
If he does, he is an abuser.
Or
he
wants to be in control of your space. And if that's what you got to notice right there.
That's a toxic motherfucker.
And the fact that he may be so broken that he needs to be in control of everybody's space. And he needs to think he is. So it's nice to know the waters on all of this.
Also, if you attracted that man, I get so many women because I used to be in my life. I attract narcissistic men. You are a narcissist as well. You are a narcissist as well. You are called an egoist. You literally have given them the straw. You say okay by letting them, what? So you're saying I caused the beating? No, I said that the insecurities and the low self-esteem, just like a dog, when they smell fear, they go and eat your ass. It's the same thing. So you have to get so strong and so worthy and so in your shit and so bitch on fire. You elevate, you set boundaries, and this doesn't even come into your field. So just wanted to put that out there too. Obviously, we're not catering to any more of the victim shit. You lived your whole life in it. How's it feel? Not good. We're going to write new stories. We're going to let that one die. You got it? Good. Jen said, yes, Skipp. Chris used to drink or used to think the same. It's an unlearning for sure. My dad always passed out $20 bills to me and my sisters. Whenever we asked, I was thinking my husband would do that for me, but it was the opposite. And I'm the one who carries cash. She goes, yeah, I'm closed off for sharing because I was raised not to be able to depend on anyone. Yeah. Thank you, Karen.
I grew up around a lot of men too, who did the work and the wife did the books and did the money. Like, yeah, I've been around a lot.
And that's kind of fucked up too. It's just as fucked up as when kids take over the family business, because it's just as fucked up when you name your kid, you're named in junior. Oh, that's going to trigger a lot of people.
Well, I'm a junior.
Fucked up. Because you're dreaming for your kids until the adult wakes up, until you wake up to your spiritual birth and you start dreaming your own dreams. You're living in someone else's dream. You're living your parents' dream because they named you this, and their dream was to leave a legacy, they said, because you can't do anything. You know what? I don't care if you like to paint Easter eggs and sell those or whatever. You're going to run this fucking landscape company. Don't you want it? I built all this. Look at it. Now the kid, I work with so many people like that. They're doctors, they're MBAs, they're this, because mommy and daddy always like brainwashed them. I'm like, you should totally be a painter. You're totally an artist. You are so not a physician. It's why you fucking drink your ass off and your relationship sucks. So
usually I see a pattern where those people come from parents who feel like they own their child.
Yeah, the people owe you shit, man.
And there was a time, I think I'm a junior because my dad was so proud to make a son.
Oh man, family pride. That's who I come from. That's our name, our family name. fuck all that shit, man. Where's your pride? First of all, I am not in that. I am not even going to talk about that because you are not your name. We want you to forget who you even are. Please forget who you are and let's create somebody new.
I needed to know that my name was more than my blood, or, that I was more than my name. I was more than my bloodline.
Oh, I had Nicole on the sales team. She don't care if I share this. We worked through a lot of shame with her. And I was like, where did this, we were working through some kind of trigger. And she goes, I'll tell you. She goes, growing up, my granddad, anything I did, shorts, if I wore shorts, if I did anything, it was, you better not do anything that would make this family embarrassed. Like, oh my God, talk about narcissistic, toxic shit.
I mean, that kept me out of trouble. I couldn't disgrace my name.
And how would I know that, mommy and daddy, since I learned everything from you? Oh, what? I don't know where you got that from. I love the meme that goes, when a mom says about her toxic ass son, I just don't know why he did that or where he came from. It's like, you're his fucking mom, I love what you're saying. Family name is bullshit. It is. But see, Jessica, she came out and did a VIP day. She forgot who she was. Thank God. I forgot who I was. Thank God. Not really. We never forget our former selves, but we brought them back into our heart where they should have been all along. It's not like you're forgetting where you come from, but a lot of the shit where you came from wasn't even yours. You came into this world, an infinite creator that literally could do anything. You have the same birthright as Oprah, Bill Gates, the happiest monk on earth. We all have the same birthrights, but why do we end up and somebody has different stories? It's because we were born into a different story culture. We were told the religion we were going to be, what school to go to. I mean, I just was listening to the Indian stuff, the Native American Indians, and they were saying, because I thought like a lot of the depression came from we just stole the land. Oh no. They were brought in, and just like we were too, because I think we've all been suppressed in this way. Because I mean, parents do it to their kids. Cut their hair a certain way, stop talking like that, don't dress like that, listen to this.
It means something.
Told it means something, and that's the Indians did that. They took their culture away, made them cut their hair, made them go to school. That's what's going on here. It's a simulation. Fuck all that shit, man. We could go in a whole different podcast on this. She said, thank God, magic. Amen. Yes. Crystalline said, man, I used to be so hard for me to set boundaries. I really struggle with that because I've never seen a woman do it. Amen, Crystalline. Because it meant, a lady asked me the other day, why is it so hard? I said, well, let's just go back and see. First of all, you're a woman of color. This lady that I was talking to, I said, you're a woman of color. A woman of color back in the day that spoke up, what would happen to her? Exactly. Back in the old days when Sarah up in Salem wanted to have some herbs and speak up because the preacher grabbed her ass, she got hung. Her bitch ass got hung.
Which ass?
Her witch ass got hung. So why is it hard for women to speak up? I don't know. You tell me. It's in the coding, and we have to break out of that matrix and say, whoa, why do I think the way I think? Let me think a new thing because it's not serving me. So if there's anything in your life you don't like how it's going, it just means there's a belief there, there's a system there in the way of it. And another girl, and then I'll shut up, said, is this program, does it make you clairvoyant? And I was like, no, you've always been clairvoyant. You had stuff in the way of the channel. We just have to clear it out. She said, I literally used to cry when she had to speak up. Yeah, a lot of women do that. I've got really strong powerhouse women make six figures. And then when they have to speak up they're in their workplace, they're trembling. And I'm like, I know. First of all, it's being a woman. Be just understanding who we are on a scientific level, our brains, the way we communicate. We don't like to have to do that. And then second, it's that woman wound, witch wound. But anyway, she said, I had to realize I wouldn't be mean to anybody else. So I was just loving myself. Absolutely. And you dealt with that too, but so going back to sex, because I always love to talk about sex. Would you say our sex has gotten better? Now, shocker. When we met each other, we were doing like twice a day, but everybody does that initially, I think.
There was like 3 times a day there for like 47 days.
We could do it. If we went to Mexico, man, with no kids right now, we would totally do that for a couple of days, but maybe not. The libido thing for us, well, we went through this thing. I teach this in Amar because it happens when you start doing womb, like your womb where you create children, life. When you start doing that kind of work and activate the divine feminine, you can't have regular sex anymore. You stop having sex for an orgasm. You stop having sex to solve a quick problem. You stop having sex because it's Tuesday. You stop having sex because you just woke up with a Woody. You know, what's another thing people used to have sex for? Literally just to solve a problem or have an orgasm.
Shit, just to go to sleep, just to wake up.
Right.
Just to change your thought.
So, and 80% of stress in marriages come from that. Because I found myself really stressed out about.
Are you asking me right now?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can put it into words. Your wife will go through sexual healing that will trigger it in you, and you'll have to go through it. And I think you're given the choice early, and once you decide, you can't undecide, you can't give this contract back type of thing.
Right.
And you guys start, I would say it's the closest thing to becoming a virgin.
Here's all I know. They're like, what are you talking about? Module 9 in Amara, we go over a lot of this shit. Because I was like, I need a guide. Like, how do you have sacred union sex? Like, how do you have sacred sex, white tantra? Like, you know, what is all this stuff? Because it's been taboo for so long. And your mind, even me talking about it, like I encourage you to listen to things that kind of make you feel uncomfortable, not like sex abuse, but things that we heard, like this couple that, I don't know what you call it, where they, not swingers, but they would fuck, would they have a girl and a guy or just a girl? I don't know what you call it.
Know.
Open.
I don't know, but there's all kinds of different stuff. So, but
when you start doing it, so like sacred union sex in just a sentence or two, healing through the type of sex. Let me just go back to the first one. Sacred union sex is where there's more than one way to have orgasms. Like you go into this, I don't even know how to explain it, this place, and in this place things happen. It's like a meditation journey. And then the sex magic, like it is literally like this, you set intentions before it.
How everybody sees it.
Yeah.
We just did.
But if you do this way, like, and you set intentions before sex and all this stuff, like there's sex, it's sex magic. I mean, the thing to it, but the healing from sex would be like, let's say you go down. Well, if there's a thought that comes into your mind that all of a sudden feels nasty, or I hope I don't get an STD, or I feel like a slut, or I hope nobody sees it, whatever. I don't know what's going to go through your mind. It's just, you have to stop and tell them, like, here's what I'm going through. And you sit there and you kind of go through it together. We realized in one part of it that we had shame around just being together, because I was 19 when I met him. He was 29. We got so much shit from my family and his family about being together. So much shame on both parties. Curses. People were just cursing us left and right. Just because they shame you. Anytime somebody shames you or talks about you, it's like there's people throwing.
And part of the reason we got married was to shut some of those people up.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason why we're getting divorced now.
Exactly. Because we got married for my dad. And because, you know, I grew up and you need to be married. You don't need to live with a man or a woman until you're married. A man until you're married, because I should, you know, same sex. Or a different color was like,
are open and now, you know.
Yeah. I grew up in very small minded ways. So that's just some of the healing that you can do in sex. But man, I'm telling you, how much has it helped us to connect in a way deeper than we've ever connected.
Yeah. And it's just the beginning feeling.
It is. Yeah.
Like, it's like, I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
In a different meaning, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got to think also that, you know, we've had such a, what I would consider, most people would consider that we've had a really good relationship, you know. And then I would also always say we had really, really, really good sex. And now I'm going to say that we let our sex go probably before we even had kids. And then after we had kids, it's like we just have memories of having really good sex. You know, and that's not an issue. We're fucking good there. And now I'm starting to see, man, we ain't even scratched the surface of this thing, man, about how much we can heal, manifest stuff in our relationship, how much I can connect on while we're not getting along, you know, different deep meanings of just that space together, that the proximity together. And I think that's been kind of
understanding. I could go into it, but it's not inappropriate. It's it won't be
Off
received
topic.
well. It's not off topic. It's, and I don't want to say it this other way. A lot of people listening to this won't be able to hear me. Okay. People in Amara can hear me, and we go into, and in relationship by design, we go over the 3D meaning of sex, like the emotional that you've never heard before in books that makes so much sense and makes you actually enjoy, like want to do it, and changes your mind about some things. Okay. And then Amara breaks down the things even more, and goes into the etheric realms. It goes into these 5D, these realms you have never, the invisible realms, and the womb, and what it really means, on the physical, emotional, spiritual sex. So it's pointless to talk about right now for our audience. I think if you want to know about it, get in Amar or get in Hotmomz. But yeah, so when it comes to sex and you not making any money, it has nothing to do with that, because I don't look at men.
You can get through it.
Well, you can get through it, but also I don't look at men just for financial stability. They're worth way more than that. A man is worth way more than that. So yeah, and I believe I'm capable. I can make my own money. I don't need that from him. What I need from you is what you give me right now is support. It's somebody to listen to me fucking yabber. It's to where do you feel like you support me the most?
I'm the only one other than you that knows you enough to keep your angel ass grounded a bit.
What would happen?
Man, you'd float off, man. You'd just go, yeah, you'd go 5D totally. You'd either, where would you go? I know that there's times that I've walked in your presence just like on a fucking Tuesday, and I felt like if I didn't, you would have walked out of there batshit crazy, or at least 30 different personalities, because I've seen you in a fetal position on a Tuesday for no damn good reason, dealing with some demons that I can't even put my mind around. And to sometimes just hug you and kiss you right then.
Yeah. And that's what
brings you back.
And women, we need to go there, because that's who we are. Pain and our feelings are portals of power. And and I've been really scared in those moments and I'll be like, Skipp, what's going on? And nobody can, there's very few that I have that understand me.
There's those times when you're going through a journey, and that's what we journey at everything, and we teach journey. And so when you're going through a journey and you start feeling very, very alone, and you can have that space to run to that feels comfortable and like home.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, you need to do the journey by yourself. You do, but also, can infants survive by themselves? Right? Not saying we're a baby. I'm saying that I don't think we were ever supposed to do this thing alone, ever. Period.
I need to give you a space to be as vulnerable as you possibly can be.
That's it.
And if that's what I love to do, then it's serving me the same way. And
a woman that feels safe, you want to have more sex, you want your wife to be whatever, help her feel safe. Listen to her emotions. But she's got to step up. It's not about the man. The woman has to step into her divinity. Somebody goes, "You're getting a divorce?" No, not like that. Not like that.
Pretty much exactly like that.
Well, okay, like that, like on paper.
We're removing the government from being a part of our relationship.
Yeah. And the second we did it, we cried and felt. It felt like we were dating. It felt like, where has this feeling been the whole time?
Yeah.
It felt like everything's changed.
And honestly, it was more of our sex work, the stuff we've been going through with Amar and everything that even brought it up.
People are going to say, though, oh God, if I go through Amar, am I going to want to get divorced? It's going to scare. Remember when you got scared?
What's the problem with it? No, what I had to say is, well, look, I've been through a divorce before, and I told you, it feels very different.
Yeah.
It feels very different, because I went through that one and I didn't get out of a contract. I went from one contract to another one. We're getting.
Do you know marriage came from a part of religion, but owning. It was more of an owning thing. Land, trading humans, like for land, and promising them to so and so. Like humans were just like slaves, like not even a real human. And marriage, I'm not going to stand behind that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's where we're at.
It's where I'm at. Yeah. And my thing is, it means more to me for you to go, I don't have to be with you, but I choose you. That to me is way more powerful. But see, if you can't have this life if you got guilt and shame. The reason we got together, I'm like, I don't like saying you're my boyfriend. Let's get married so I can say husband.
Yeah.
We could have said that anyway. We didn't need to be married.
Yeah.
We needed to be this way. Oh God, we were so ego. We were just all still are, I'm not saying we're just holier than thou.
You get married for tax reasons. Listen, this is individually between me and Casey and our relationship right now after 18 years. We want to get rid of that contract.
And I think
that's it, period.
I would do like a renewing of the vow thing and like wear a dress. I would get married, but I would not do the paperwork.
Yeah.
I would have a ceremony.
I wouldn't involve.
I wouldn't have
state.
No.
I don't even live in one state.
I wouldn't do. Yeah. So if I got married, if the paperwork, we're just doing the paperwork. We're going to stay married. All right. Or whatever. The paperwork's what we don't want because what?
Yeah. I'm not going to be married to you.
Oh, what's union? Whatever we call it, but it was
partnered up. We got to come up with something better. And I just don't like the word marriage just is not.
And I don't like partner.
Either. Because
then my mind immediately goes to, am I lesbian? Well, maybe I am. Maybe I got a girlfriend.
But we do
That's hot.
Partner and everything.
It is a partner. You're a life partner. Dude, I went and traveled to when I was dying in a journey, in a meditation, what do you want to call it? So I went to my future self that was dying and I said some words to Skipp and I thought it would be like all this mushy gushy shit. And no, it wasn't. It was about, man, you have been an amazing life partner. Like that was it. Like you've been like you go to battle with someone. It's like you have been an amazing partner. What do you call those people that go to war with you?
I don't know, but they're about to tell you because they come up with good words.
Yeah, y'all are smart over here.
I'll get that vocabulary.
Yeah. Is there anything else about sex that y'all want to know? Haha, I hear partner and I think the same. I do too. I'm like, are you gay? Because that's hot. I just want to know.
Rainbows.
I like rainbow. We could be, so it's funny when I hear partner because it was used, I think, back in the day when, you couldn't say, I don't know what the fuck it comes from, but when
it's a good word.
It is
because we partner with raising our kids. We partner the same way the partners.
Yeah. And then I met a lot of straight people that would say partner. I'm like, I kind of like that. It's changing my mind. So I like partner. Are there any questions?
Like wife too. I mean,
wife's hot. Like, I think we may use that. I think sometimes we're going to say wife.
It's like the fact, all right, this is my second divorce. All right. When you hate somebody and you can't get along and you decide to get a divorce and you have to try to come up and agree on something, that's terrible. So while you're agreeing and while y'all are getting along and it's the best time of your relationship where your partner is on a 10 with you, where you can close down 7-figure businesses and do so good, get a divorce then because you're actually cooperating, you're making good deals, you're doing good stuff together so that if you actually hate me, we're done. Like, what? We gonna tackle that bear again? I remember I got triggered, or like I didn't get triggered. I was just like, "Whoa, that's interesting," because I wasn't thinking like this. But Aaron and Jordan from the ones podcast, the one I went to speak at, the fitness people, IFCA, I don't know, Fitness Academy. I can't remember the business name. They're great, awesome podcast too. But she was like, "I think you should be able to have." What'd she say? I think you should be able to renew your marriage contract every 5 years. Like, do y'all want to stay together or not? Every 5 years. That's
I'm like,
pretty cool.
That's cool. I like that shit. But like the dream, you're not who you were yesterday. What makes you think you're going to be with this person then? But then also it's like a long-term friendship. I think it's so special growing together. I think that just, that's cool, man. That's cool.
I mean, and it's, if you want to get in shape, get a divorce.
She says, what kind of companionship? Yeah. But
companionship. I like that.
But hey, some days I may be the girlfriend.
I want all the names.
But some days I may be a girlfriend. That's fucking hot.
That's real hot.
Some days I may be the fucking wife,
That's
wifey.
hot.
Sometimes I may be the husband. Would you do that?
No. I'll go back to partner before I say that.
Okay. All right.
So that's how they made up that word.
Yeah. I didn't even have an orgasm until 7 years after being with Skipp. I didn't trust him. Got with him the first time. He's like Mr. Honkaroo. All these girls just dropping panties to get with him. And I get with him and he goes, do you not get off or anything? And I said, no, I don't know you yet. Because if I got off it with me, my finger, and I could do it with like them doing me, but I would do it myself. Okay. I'll do it all myself.
Which is real hard for us to realize we're not doing it.
Whoops. But then we got to talking all this stuff. 7 years. And when did we have a kid? 10 years?
10 years.
Well, after 7 years or 8 years, I went through this thing where heart opening and was like, let me try to have an orgasm without play. Like, let me just let Skipp do it. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I had to want to do it, and it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was hot. Yeah. We even had to go through masturbation, like all the stuff with that, kids, like looking at kids stuff, not like porn like that, but I mean kids stuff like when little kids touch themselves and you don't want to shame them for their body parts or,
how to refer to their parts,
how to refer to their privates. I mean, we've reprogrammed everything, and I teach all this shit. Probably should teach on it more I don't think Hotmomz is the appropriate place, probably a more. Okay. There's like it good deal. I don't think there's any questions. I think we're good here.
All right. Enjoyed being here. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Will you do it again, please?
Be happy to come back once I know a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll keep you posted, on the breadwinner shit. But what's the final line for a woman out there that's struggling with fucking a man because he's not bringing home the bacon?
Either you got to make the bacon or find somebody who does bring home the bacon.
Yeah, and she's going to have to deal with feeling
I know a lot of women who go find a man who brings home the bacon and they still keep cooking with the same guy,
Yeah. For me also, every time I would go into one Skipp and change.
What do you want? What do you want moving forward, That's all it comes down to.
Every time, what do you want? Every time I would go into wanting Skipp to change, I would just go up, 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 up. You're there again. You're there. Go back to you. Okay, that's why I used to have that sign that said, I am a rich man. When women just step into their power, it frees our men. So we'll end with that one. All right.
But it's hurtful for the man to see all that. Like it can be triggering. Let me put it that way. Of
course.
To see a woman coming into her divine creativity and power, it's intimidating and scary to a man, and the man must make some changes.
Hear that? If you want to make those changes, you've got a few options. I want you to go to CaseyShipp.com/podcast offer. And then from there, you can choose, what do you want to do? Just hit up CaseyShipp.com/register. And that will put you into the email list and give you this video, but at least you'll have the emails and you'll know there'll be a calendar booking link. You can apply. When you apply, you can book a call. As of right now, we're taking that away. We're going to make everybody go through, just buy some low ticket shit. See if you like it. If you want to bump up, you can. But yeah, I say right now, go to CaseyShipp.com/register. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, what he said. Awesome. Talk to you soon. Toodles. And be sure, like, subscribe, share, listen to the Hotmomz Lifestyle Podcast. Thank you so much.